Okay, so I'm sitting here trying to go through Zoom because the problem that I've had has been trying to create an ability to have the recording go on and happening, because just going live on Facebook created a glitch in my, I'd fade in and out volume wise. So I apologize. This is kind of new for me to try, and we're just working at it, trying to find a better way for you to hear us. Okay, so today I want to talk about the matrix. The reason I want to talk about the matrix is because people have lots of concepts about these different things, and I get it. We've all seen the movie The Matrix. That's generally what most people's concept is, but I want you to kind of bear with me and let's talk about this a little. Every decision that we make, I don't care whether that decision was 10 years ago, it could have been 10 lifetimes ago, could have been 10 minutes ago. It's going to affect the moment you're in right now. Okay. So if we are understanding that we're the star of our reality and everybody else is a bit player because they're stars in their own reality, and that we all have agreements to help each other grow and progress spiritually, then we understand that it's really important for all of us to go through the matrix of co-creation. And we participate in order to bring balance to our ego, to our spirit, to our spiritual progression. This is karma at its finest. Okay. So when we have that understanding that karma is not payback for some poetic justice of a visited on the head of our betrayer, it's not ha ha ha, karma bit them in the butt. It's about bringing balance to our world. I remember somebody offering a class through Crystal Dove, and they were offering to bring your karma, do away with it completely. Now, I found that really hysterical myself, because I found that, to do that, we would have to, he was going to do it for $300. Well, if he could do it, I would have paid him $3,000, because who wants to learn these lessons? Who wants to go through the hard times in order to get to the higher knowledge? So if you think with karma that it is a betrayal, it's somebody betrayed you and they're getting their just rewards, well, that's vindictive. And that vindictiveness is something that you have to deal with. They don't have to deal with it. Their life goes on while you're being angry and vindictive, and you're wanting to see the worst of the worst that comes to them. And what ends up happening is that anger attracts the worst and the worst to you. So you didn't bring much into balance that way. If you are seeing in your life, you're witnessing the same situations in your life repetitively. Yosh, can't talk today. Then it's you creating that situation. I hear people tell me all the time, what the hell do I do that is so bad that I keep having this happen? Well, you keep thinking that you need to learn some lesson in this. And so you're stuck in the loop. That's the matrix loop. So we understand that at this time, we have the ability to pay, or bring into balance, rather, 10 lifetimes. And what that means is that the vibration is really high. The eighth ray was cast. If you look at your life, somewhere between 92, 94, you would have gone under a shift. So in that shift of consciousness or that shift of lifestyle or something, maybe a job moved you from one side of the country to the other, you went through a divorce, you decided to go back to school, could have many things that happened in that time. Somebody important to you may have passed away. There was a massive shift that brought some emotional changes for you. That was the eighth ray. And from my calculations and everything that I've understood, 2012 to 2015 brought in the ninth ray. So when we talk about rays, we're looking at vibration. We're looking at the energy rising. When you're meditating, your whole goal is to raise your vibration. It's to raise your consciousness. So what we're trying to do is get in balance with those rays that were cast. And we do that by empowering our white light in our meditation. So we sit in meditation of a different sort, not just meditation to empty our mind, but to connect to our higher self, to connect to our spirit teachers. That's the important aspect of the higher vibration, because we start losing the drama. We start understanding and becoming so connected that we understand that our actions are just as important as our reactions. What decisions we make have long-term ramifications. So many people right now are really angry because they're not holding well to the vibration. And they're struggling with things like divorce, relocation, jobs, race, discrimination, cultural identity, things like critical race theory. Most people don't understand the importance of critical race theory, and they fight against it. Critical race theory is learning that what you were taught as normal history was whitewashed. And it changed so that to the spoils go the victor, and whoever was the biggest bully could accomplish. These situations are not unique to America. I know that in Canada, the beautiful bodies of so many children were found at resident schools. Well, if I'm not mistaken, there were 9,000 children found in Ireland. So it happened in Ireland also. What we're not hearing is the voices of the children. The children's voices need to be heard so that we bring forth one of the precepts for the Aquarian age. The Aquarian age is a time of higher enlightenment. It's a time of equality. It's a time of healing. We have thus far gone through probably many lifetimes, many experiences on many different planes of existence. And it's here that we chose to be at this time to bring this information forward. We were probably those children that had experienced death at the hands of religious abuse. And I'm not trying to point fingers. I'm not trying to say be mad at this church or don't go to church. I'm trying to tell you that we have to let go of what happened, by who it happened, in the way it happened, so we can hear the children's voices and what they were telling us. They were telling us no human being should ever be treated so foully. When we let that anger and we cling to it, and we don't let the voices of the children and the people who are alive that are still experiencing these injustices. I don't care if it's a person who is trying to change their tire and somebody comes by and throws a bottle at them and hurts them, to racial discrimination and gun violence. Any of this We have to raise our consciousness and say, we can let it anger us. And so therefore we're going to fight against it, but we're going to draw more of that anger to us. So we can be angry at situations, but you have to let that anger go through you. We have to experience the emotions, but we don't have to let that anger consume us to where it regresses our spirit. To further accomplish this, we need to let go of our anxiety about the future. I know a lot of people are really on tenterhooks right now, and I honestly can't blame them. We don't know how we're going to pay our bills. We're struggling with whether or not we have jobs. The housing bubble, it may break again. This is what we're being told and shoved down our throat. So it creates that. What you fear, you draw near. So the housing bubble breaking in 2008 didn't affect people who didn't buy into the fear. They found ways and opportunities to move and go around it, but it decimated a lot of people's lives. Going into allow that anxiety of what hasn't yet happened into the future stops us from creating the correct decisions in our moment now. And fear of what happened in our past, well, what you fear, you draw near. What you resist persists. What you emanate, you create. So letting go of what may have happened, what happened back then, that it may happen again, is not necessarily one of our best choices. We have to get and stay in the moment now. And we need to quit being in the concept of finding our tribe, only hanging out with our people. Tribe creates division. We need to come into that time that we're really looking at community. Come unify. So Resonant Essentials, myself, has always believed and stood for profound change for the future. That can only happen if we allow all the people who have such wisdom to come forward and be a part of the community. If I were to shut the door on people who had high wisdom, who loses? Not just the people who come to Resonant Essentials, but I do, because I've blocked the opportunity to grow for myself. So we need to come, we need to unify, we need to sit with like-mindedness. We need to be open for other people's understanding and their teachings. We need to quit trying to compete in order that we have more. It's not a competition out there. We all have gifts of spirit. Guess what would happen if we all joined up with those gifts? We would blow the light sky high. We would draw such abundance and love and peace together. It would be amazing. So we need to quit trying to compete. It's not a competition. Competition no longer has value to us because what we learned is it created fear in each other. So we have to take our steps and go slowly and breathe and understand that if we quit competing, we begin and end with the whole tool of everything that everybody has is at our disposal. I'll share a little bit. Somebody I knew yesterday was having a really hard day. She was in a lot of chaos. And I knew I wasn't the one that was going to be able to say the words that were going to help her heal her heart that day. So I asked a friend, can you talk with her? And that friend did, and she slept better at night. She slept better, and she was able to move forward. And that's the important thing. Competing for attention is silly. We need to share more in order to bring the abundance for everyone. We need to let go of control of others. Somebody doesn't do it your way, it's okay. I mean, you know, we have to trust that we're all in our integrity. There is, I will say, an element of the fact that there is a foundation that you must follow. You have to build the foundation so that your true nature, your true gifts can come forward. But we don't have to control them in order to help them attain balance. We don't have to tell them how they need to change their diet or eat less pizza and more broccoli, because sometimes broccoli is not as healthy as people think. If you eat too much, you can get sick from that too. So all things in moderation. See the healing in our medicine. Don't resist it as a tool of destruction. If it doesn't feel right for you, don't take it. I remember a woman telling me that she was a young living oil sales person. And she told me that because I couldn't stand the smell of lavender, that obviously I needed it. And I said, well, that's really not true. I can tell you that I don't like the smell of lavender because I don't need it. Because it's your marketing tool to tell me that I need lavender, so I'll buy the bottle. But I'm telling you that using my olfactory sense says it's poison, it's toxic to me. So don't use it. So for me, if it smells bad, I'm not going to use it. And she was really upset with me because I wasn't doing it her way and I wasn't buying her oil. That's okay. It was the dawning realization that I had a voice and that I could trust my intuition. So it really worked a lot better for me not to go in and have that lavender oil anywhere around me. We also need to let go of jealousy, envy, greed, and rejoice if someone has abundance to share. It doesn't matter if they're going to share with you, okay? The fact that they have abundance means that your own abundance is, and you're happy about it, your own abundance is right there. So close. All you have to do is allow it to come in. I remember telling my mom, she said, it drives me crazy that you do so much for me. And I said, but Mom, one of the hardest things about that is that you don't ever let anybody give to you. So it's just as important that you learn how to receive as it is for you to constantly be the giver. So we have to learn to receive, which means we have to open to vulnerability. And if we don't learn that lesson, we will be taken to our knees. We will make such a situation that we're miserable. We either get sick or we live in lack, we become without. So we really need to understand that we too have to receive. It's a hard lesson for me, something that's very difficult for me because I hate to impose on people, but I learned, it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to show my pain. It's not okay for me to wallow in it. It's up to me to change it. So if we allow somebody to show their gifts to us and share their gifts with us, share their teaching with us, yes, we do have compensation to give. There's all kinds of different levels of compensation. There's different ways to say thank you. Sometimes it's a monetary exchange, but there has to be an exchange of energy. The person who is giving is, if they don't allow the receiving portion, even if it's from somebody else, then what they're looking at is bringing that out of balance. And we are striving for balance. Balance brings spiritual growth, spiritual awareness. We need to accept the aspects of people giving to us in physical labor or words of wisdom. We really do need to allow people to give what they can to us, because by sharing And mentoring, we create an opportunity to raise our own vibration. And when we raise our own vibration, our consciousness opens up to a more full universe, and our own spiritual growth starts to happen. So we have, by our integrity and fulfilling our agreements, the opportunity to honor the fact that we're bit players in everybody's life and a star of our own. Now I'm going to talk a little bit, and this is really hard for a lot of people, that codependence thing, where we think we can help somebody learn their lessons. And it's hard because we don't like to see, if you're a healer, you hate to see human suffering. But sometimes people have to suffer so they get up off their own butt and make changes. Sometimes they have to sink to their knees and be broken into pieces so they decide not to suffer anymore. And when we don't learn our spiritual lessons, we have to redo it over and over and over again. And we're sending that out through everything. Because remember, we don't have a timeline. When our spiritual self can be happening in multiple lives simultaneously, which means, and here's where the matrix, the mind-blowing stuff happens. When you're making a decision in this life, okay, it's going to affect positively or negatively your life in 978 BC that could be happening on Earth right now as you're sitting here listening to me. It can also be affecting your life in 4025 AD, when we've shifted civilizations and we're no longer in our human form and we have a different body, more of an energy body, and we have much more change and understanding. To get to that, we have to let go of all the fears, the anxieties, the control, the finishing of everybody's world, their senses, their statements, their jobs. We can't fix it for each other. We can only support and love each other as we go through this together. So my matrix is created by the decision that I experience. So the outcome shoots through all my lives, just boom. It doesn't matter. It just shoots through all of them. So if I choose to be angry, that anger is felt as a vibration through all the lives. If I fear, that fear goes through all of those lives. How can you connect to your higher self if you're angry or fearful? How can you connect to the peace, to the bliss that is ours in our heart chakra if we are so concerned about what we have in this moment or what may happen in the next? If we're to continue pandering to our victim mentality, well, I didn't get to receive my $10,000 PPP for my business, therefore my business is going to fail, then I have already created that decision and therefore it's going to happen because that's what I know to be true. But to stay in my moment now and understand that there is beauty, love, peace, and understanding with everyone who walks into the doors, then we become more powerful in our light. And as we radiate that light outward, we attract more people to come to our heart, to come to our center of our being and build the energy together. We don't want to create a crappy experience because of our victim mentality to go out for all of our lifetimes. I mean, I'm sure there's got to be some lifetime that I've had in which everything was so peaceful. And I probably screwed it up by something I did in this lifetime. And that's the matrix. That's our matrix. Each of us has our own individual matrix. So we don't want anything to be created so severely that it breaks us, that we have no other choice but to love, honor, and respect the experiences of all our moments now that are happening right now through all the matrix. We don't want to, but sometimes that's the only way we can get to that understanding that our voices are important and that we can be heard and that our love can be felt. Because if you're truly in your integrity, you know that loving people, loving the animals, loving the world, loving the universe, and loving every experience helps us bring it into balance. I don't like having to go through those, really bring me to my knees and break me into a million pieces. But I love the fact that I'm experiencing them because I'm going to grow from them. I know it sounds really superior, but it's really not. It's just an act of a desperate woman. We have to let go of what others think to find out what we know. So learning that foundation that they have to offer us, the foundation of going in and understanding how this works. Like people struggle with meditation, so they use guided meditation. Well, they're allowing that person who's doing the guided meditation to take them somewhere where they want them to go. So listening to music allows the music to interfere with where your higher self wants you to go. Sitting in stillness, sitting in quiet, allows us to build the energy for our own self and allows our spirit to connect to our higher self and to our spirit teachers, should it be fortunate enough that they come in and they talk with us and they guide us. But when we allow others to only direct us to where they want us to go instead of giving us a template, then we're kind of stuck to their going down their matrix path until we learn we need to create our own. We need to develop our experiences and we need to create our experiences, understanding that each experience that we have is for our own little spiritual self, for the benefit and betterment of everyone in this whole complex world and all the matrices matrices happening simultaneously. Forgive me, it's been an interesting day on the computer today. So there you have it. So while I stand in my matrix, I thank you for standing in yours. I thank you for everything that you show me, you give to me, and you join with me. My heart to all of yours. I hope you have a blessed, peaceful, wonderful weekend. I will see you next week. My heart to yours. Mwah. Love to all of you. Bye now.